Hello, BTS America's fans, and welcome back to the fourth series of action here, or the fourth season of action, rather, and our second series of the day. It's the Animal Kingdom! Gotta emphasize with the exclamation marks. Going against Evernova. I'm KotLGuy, gonna be joined again by Blaze. Blaze, I'm gonna be reaching out to you for a bit of help here as we begin to dissect exactly who's going to be playing where. Obviously, Animal Kingdom seems a bit familiar. A lot of familiar faces from the team Leviathan. We have Jenkins and Newsham there. We know Louie, a.k.a. Ziz, from some core carry play. You know, he stood in Leviathan briefly, was on Complexity. Ja, we know, has been around the block. And then ZXYC, I've seen this name a lot in pub play, but I'm not too familiar exactly with who it is. Do you have a better idea, Blaze, or no?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Like he's definitely one of the guys that has had a less promising showing in competitive scene so far. But obviously that just means he has all the more to prove, and it's gonna cause some variability. The thing is, both teams have kind of been a little bit flexible in how they run their teams because over the past couple of weeks they've been trying a lot of different stand-ins. So they have a lot of random players coming in and out, and they're switching roles. Obviously there will be some signature ones that are still covered, as you'd expect them to, of course. Like Hook is going to be taking the offlane while Derp supports. On the other side, you can expect the same from Newsham and Jenkins. So, I mean, you know what you're looking for in general. It's just, it's going to be interesting seeing, obviously, some teams that and players that have played against each other so many different times, but in so many different formations, kind of try to strategize against these dynamic lineups.
And obviously, the goal at the end of the day is for them to break out from the little grind they've been running against these tier 2s and 3s and hope that they can really begin to make a name for themselves here. And a promising run at BTS Americas could be a stepping stone towards that direction. And who doesn't want to kind of live the dream life of playing Dota 2 for money and being on a big team? Animal Kingdom now, they open up with a Outworld Devourer and a Beastmaster here. It'll be our fourth straight game of Beastmaster and Invoker, as Evernova will pick up that one. We'll see what their follow-up grab is going to be here. Priority being put on the side for some other top picks instead, and we'll have to see if they put maybe some priority in getting up a support staff here for Evernova or not. Gone with the opportunities of getting up that Invoker Lone Druid just seems to be too good of a combo, and with that Lone Druid always getting the nod in the early banning phase, we'll have to see what kind of is going to be the next best option here. And it will be an early grab of the Nyx Assassin here. And not your Sumail mid lane style Nyx, I would wager here, but instead maybe a comfort pick for Evernova. Nonetheless, still very nice against the Outworld Devourer, Blaze.
Yeah, they've actually picked it up a number of times in the past week. They are considering this hero quite effective against a number of lineups. It's not just against OD, but obviously it's most effective against OD because of its very high intelligence and its steal. The stronger he is, the more vulnerable he becomes because of that mana burn. And I think it's quite promising that you can carapace and block some major damage coming out from him. So overall, I like the idea of the Nyx Assassin. I think it's strong enough to open with in the first phase. And however they choose to run it in this case, I think that they're going to be able to get a lot of value. I mean, they're going to be able to not just roam and be active as soon as the Nyx hits level 6, but then still feel confident with the amount of disable he brings, as well as, of course, the mana burn kind of inhibiting the int core meta that we've been seeing a lot of.
Did they play it as a 4 in the support position? I don't know if you had said that.
Usually as a 4 position.
All right, very cool.
At least in the last week. So I'm sure they could run it in multiple ways. Like it was supporting in the offlane if that helps for one of their games, but in general it is going to be taking 4 position farm, and they're still going to pick up a couple extra cores.
All right. Moving on, it looks like Evernova will continue to strike towards the jungle side, at least, getting rid of the Chen. No Ursa will be picked up this time, and Animal Kingdom rid of the late game Spectre grab. It is a bit peculiar. You know, it's Jenkins after all. I wonder if he was going to ever consider maybe going back to the classic Pudge. He's one of the few remaining people that you would ever imagine could still go for the hero nowadays. But no respect has been given as far as banning it out. And I know for a while he was grinding a lot of like Earth Spirit games. I'm actually just curious if he even still plays the offlane role or not, to be honest with you. I haven't seen Animal Kingdom play yet. And if he's still in the off, I would imagine so. I haven't seen him play anything outside.
Well,
of
that's the thing is he actually has not really played with the team
Yeah.
that much at all. Like this team, he only has one game with them, and it was kind of it's just a goofy stand-in thing. It was like half the roster was shuffled. So no, I'm assuming that he'll go back to his tried and true.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of playing just a few weeks back for Leviathan. But yeah, he was like the last time he played Lone Druid mid, so you really don't know what to expect here. But I would assume he's going to be running the Beastmaster offlane. It just makes sense.
Okay. All right. Well, they get the Sven as the follow-up here. You get your hefty burst, some armor sustained a bit, and without having to worry about the pesky nature's prophet, it's other kiting options that might be necessary here. One of them being what looks like a lion grab, a good 4-staff candidate, some way to kind of avoid the trouble, and obviously some good insta lockdown if necessary. And that already between the lion and the Nyx assassin is a pretty good powerhouse support duo for them. So it's going to be a lot of lane aggression, as well as some good mid-game potential with the burst of the finger, plus the setup with the vendetta. I'm curious if they're also going to get maybe any sort of additional global options. You got Invoker already, Nyx to kind of set up anything with vendetta. I'm curious if they're going to be stretching it much further than that. They already were denied the Spectre, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, with the Nature's Prophet banned out, I can't really see and either team fulfilling that vein of thought. I like the idea. If they could have picked up a Nature's Prophet for a 3rd or 4th pick, I think they definitely would have considered it, but that's not going to be on the table. So I would have to say that it's just going to be kind of a meat grinder. They're going to be slugging out very close quarters here, and obviously with already a couple melee heroes on the board, the AoE stun for the Nyx, the Lion, a little bit of control from the Invoker is all going to be very valuable up against Animal Kingdom lineups. So I think they do have to spread things out a little bit, focus more on range of initiation and being able to do damage from a distance. A Witch Doctor still seems okay here. Nyx Assassin can't carapace a Death Ward to stop the channel, so it's one of the few channel abilities you don't have to be afraid to use. But nevertheless, any channel spells seemed hard to get off against the 3 heroes we see on the side of Evernova.
We'll have to see what Animal Kingdom are going to be responding with here. They're weighing it out in the meantime, but it will be an Oracle grab.
Radiant team pick.
Oracle grab, does feel a bit peculiar. It's, in recent times it felt like Oracle was always kind of picked up as, your fair counter against your Bat and against your Faceless, or not Faceless Void. I always mix up Faceless Void and Darkseer. But this time it feels like it's more kind of being, the backstaff for maybe the Sven to get him out of trouble a bit. If he has some sort of life leech, certainly will be able to benefit a lot from the false promise. It's either that or they're just kind of, reducing potential picks from Evernova. Now they can't go for like a Bat Rider offlane, let's say. Maybe they will anyways. I'm not too sure. It does feel a bit peculiar though.
I think that idea is not too bad. Negating potential Bat Rider is always something you have to consider, but I definitely think it's going to be mostly just focused on making sure that Sven can do as much as possible. Yeah. Let's say Sven goes for an early Mask of Madness. With the false promise behind him, he can be very confident. Let's say the Beastmaster uses a boar once every minute or so to stack Ancients. Sven doesn't even have to worry about dominating a creep to get that job done, and he's going to be able to do so much in terms of farm. So really looking forward to seeing what Animal Kingdom can pull out with this, but Evernova, they've got all these good caster heroes now. They need the hard carry, and in this position, carrying against the Sven is not too easy. A Beastmaster also provides a lot of lockdown. What do you think about just something that can survive through all that?
You know what I was thinking about, and you would probably think I was crazy, is going back for like a Clockwork to get that global thing with the setup with the Nyx and a Sunstrike. Good for kiting the Sven back from trouble. Get in the face of someone like Oracle. He's not going to be able to offer anything to help his team. Obviously, the talk has been that, Clockwork has fallen off a bit. People feel even uncomfortable about the circular cogs and feel like they're not as good as they once were. It may be true or not. I'm not a big Clockwork player myself, but that was one of the things that was popping into my head. Is it likely? Probably not. I mean, they could fall back and get like a Tidehunter or something else. Earthshaker offers, fissures one hell of a pain in the ass for someone like Sven who's just trying to get into the fray a bit if he doesn't have an optimal blink, let's say. They now have great high ground defense if they're looking to build this all behind some sort of like super core, like a Morphling or something. Now they have this high ground defense to kind of stall the game out a bit. So I like Earthshaker. Dunks are wonderful. Solid grab nonetheless.
Man, I mean, AoE stun after AoE stun. Yeah. We've got the Fissure, the Aftershock, the Earth Spike, the Impale, whatever Invoker wants to bring to bear, the Tornadoes or Deafenings, probably Deafenings. I gotta say that I feel like at this point in time, there's so much magical disable, you can't help but look at heroes like Silencer and Omni-Knight. Silencer to prevent those disables from being thrown out, and Omni-Knight to just repel to actually prevent it. I mean, that's a classic, like, ranked MMR duo, where you just go for OD Omni. Like, it's classic as in I've seen it 1,000 times in the past month, so it feels like ages since I've not seen it. Like, that's just how brutal it is. Like, that shit is just a menace in the current metagame, and it makes me all the more excited for the next patch.
It's funny that we haven't seen that the Omni OD adopted too much among the higher teams, especially when they're like, I guess when there's a lot at stake. You're playing at Shanghai, you know, maybe. But like, these kind of teams, oh, they'll pull it out. They'll play it. They know what works in the pubs, and if they think it's gonna suit, they might go for it here. But we'll see.
I think it's definitely about like how the dynamic works between a pub game and like where everybody's solo queuing versus a team that has played with one another at least a number of times and has that 5-man mentality. Like, I feel like there's a very big difference, and it's a lot easier to counter Omni when you have that game plan behind you. But they go for something that I would not have advocated for, would not have expected, but something that they feel good about here. They're going to go for Enigma. So they do get the extra early golden experience from the jungle. Morphling comes out for the side of Evernova, which is great against Beastmaster. I would have actually, if we had a little bit more time, I would have talked about him. But right now, Enigma is the focal point in my overall means of digesting this draft. It really comes down to how effective this Enigma comes down to pushing, because like his AoE fight abilities are going to be dwarfed by what the Earthshaker line and Nyx bring. Enigma is a hero that can die so quickly if he just gets isolated, just gets chain stunned. And you don't want to use your false promise from the Oracle just on the Enigma to help him out here. So yeah, overall, I don't really feel that confident in the Enigma pick outside of what he brings to the early game, which is greedy, advanced progression. Some good items will come out for sure. You'll get that mech at a good time. Mech is great with Oracle, but up against the team lineup they're up against, he's going to have to stay so far back, or he's going to go down quick. And Morphling, again, Dickens will be on the Beastmaster, but if you get Stormhammered, if you get Roared, you're still going to be able to morph, and you should be able to still put out quite a bit in the team fights.
And with that, looks like we are going to be hopping into game number 1. We will start off with a bit of a pause here. It looks like some from Evernova are not quite game ready yet. But yeah, I have to agree with the Enigma grab. Not something I was totally expecting here. That does force a bit of extra pressure here onto the Oracle to kind of hold his own, or at least help out with the Sven in lane. I guess when you're going against what looks to be the Earthshaker here, it shouldn't be too much trouble. But he will definitely be able to move and get the XP and get some early farm. And if that's happening, then the momentum of the Animal Kingdom lineup is not really going to be there. And Team Evernova have a lineup that is happy to kind of play with the clock quite a bit. So this could be pressure on Animal Kingdom to really do a lot in the early game. But
yeah, I mean, it's just like think about what Enigma and Sven have to do to get in position. I mean, obviously Blink Daggers are going to be key aspects of how they initiate, how they move, but just in general, it just feels like as you're getting approached, you're just going to always be eating at least 1 or 2 stuns.
Yeah,
it's going to be very problematic. I stand by what I talked about. No matter how unorthodox it was, Silencer or Omni Knight are absolutely my top 2 for that. Even maybe a Skywrath Mage, a quick silence there from a supporting cast, but just something that takes some spells out of the picture. Because if you're eating every spell that Evernova have, some of them twice, like, you can't win fights against that. There's just too much in terms of damage and disable.
If somehow, some way, Animal Kingdom are able to get everything off, and let's say the stuns just happen to be on cooldown, or their hands are off the keyboard, and they get the black hole, the Sven cleave glowing, it could be an absolute...
Oh yeah.
It could be just destruction. But that's a big if. It's a lot of big cooldowns to have to work around. I guess with a lot of cooldowns means that at least you might always have something at the ready. But look at this fun little cheeky play. Evernova going right down the middle. Right up into the woods. Looking to catch out Animal Kingdom possibly from behind. It could be Jaw who's in trouble here. I'm just an Oracle. No big deal. Uh-oh. He's fast, though. Oh, not fast enough. The tip's there. There's another stun. 2 stuns already. Sunstrike. Bada bing, bada boom. First blood. Going to be going to Juan on this one. Nyx Assassin will benefit from the extra boost of gold. And
30 seconds
it will be first blood for Evernova.
Yeah, so obviously a nice little start for them. Of course, securing the top bounty rune as well. But right now, it looks like Jenkins is going to be okay to take the bottom or set up the bottom one for the OD, which is just fine. I actually feel like there's going to be still equal progression in that capacity. Sure, Nyx gets a better start, but yeah, the first blood for the smoke, it's nice, but it's not going to be the game changer here. We're going to be looking at these lanes and examining closely how well OD just put himself in a rough position. Thankfully, he has the imprisonment available, or that could have gotten really awkward.
Yeah, Jenkins is also nearby, but he's got a Talon, which means he is going to find his farm regardless, whether it's bid in the lane here or working out in the side camp. I'm curious to see if Evernova are going to be pulling out. Well, they are. They know they saw that Iron Talon. They know what's up, and they are looking to kind of be a nuisance here. Jenkins is kind of stuck keeping watch and forcing him away. But Evernova are kind of already putting the mood out there that they are going to be crafty. So Animal Kingdom's going to be on all toes for this, but free bottom lane for Morphling at the start.
Yeah, that's going to be really nice for him. He can start morphing Agi hard. He can push the tower. He can just get every last in the lane. Doesn't really matter. He's able to build himself up very nicely. Okay, missing a number of last hits he shouldn't, but yeah, in the end, it's just a start. He's going to gradually build himself up, and some big items can come out for him. I mean, Legasphere would be really good this game, honestly. And, of course, also got to look at that timing of when you find your big E-Blades. So I think the classic build, like its E-Blade, is fine here. Sometimes I'll advocate for more right-click intensive or farm-intensive ones, but with all these spells flying about, you already have so much incentive to go for the Ethereal Blade. And it's just like E-Blade Finger Adaptive. There's nobody that should survive against that.
Yeah, and one brief combo will take out someone like an Oracle if even caught up position. That means your whole false promise game plan here for your Sven is going to be completely out of the equation and could lead to utter disaster here if Evernova kind of get that bit of time. So that's why it just makes me all the more curious for Animal Kingdom and what the hell they're going to have to do at the start of this game. Jaws making his move back in the lane after pulling on a bit of a pull through here, trying to force Hook back. Hook at level 2, nearly level 3 here. Need a bit of pressure, but nonetheless, he's already going to be making a break for that 2-minute rune. Will he get there first? Looks like he may. Free regen rune, which he's not going to be able to enjoy a whole lot of. He tries to utilize it with a Bear Fisher, steps back out, and he will make it away to safety. All the meanwhile, it will look like it was Juan who was able to pick up the other rune, so that's 2 runes claimed up from Evernova. And all the meanwhile, Nusham is the top CSer on this Enigma. Dire jungle Enigma things, as you will.
But actually, he's having a little bit of a rough time here. He did get the D ward on the eastern camp, but was actually looking to go into a safer position in this hard camp that's by the secret shop. And the sentry ward is just off the mark. That's out. The rings are outside of one another, and that means that he is not going to be able to tap into that. He's going to have to go and make it just essentially what is a triangular rotation, but under the observer ward that was clearly placed. So that's going to make it harder for the Enigma to feel safe. And oh my, with the cold snap coming out, it actually looked very desperate to ZXYC, but Ja will rotate in, get a nice little hit on Juan. And he does not have Carapace right here. He's going to rely heavily on this spike, and it does connect on both.
Nice. Gets the 2-man catch with the stun. That quick reaction coming out from the OD will secure the astral save. And obviously with his Nyx continually away from the lane and poking his head around, they see him with the ward, obviously, but they are just trying to make sure they have the quick reaction ready to go in case he does suddenly show himself. Jenkins here at the bottom with only 3 CS, still struggling his way towards that level 3. Morphling in total control of this lane, and now even both supports just kind of working with getting the equilibrium back towards the tower. Top lane, This has made his move, gets out the stun. But an easy fissure counter will stop him from getting any extra damage. This is level 3 on CS right now at about 19 and 8. So his Sven continues to kind of muscle his way into work.
Alright, so we are going to be seeing, overall, right now, early gold go the way of Evernova, early experience go the way of the Enigma, as you'd expect on the side of the Animal Kingdom. But the big thing for me is how this mid matchup progresses early. And right now, the fact is, the Invoker is 21 and 4, the OD only 13 and 3. As the XYC has been pressured back multiple times now, he's going for bottle, which is not always optimal. And in this case, it's just the Invoker's outperforming him in every way. He's going to get his Midas at a great time.
Looks to be so. I tried to poke at him a bit, but we don't know Oracle to be a big roaming ganking hero. So still holding tangos. We'll just kind of play bodyguard in the woods in the meantime while Nusham is just trying to get the best out of his Enigma jungle. Still at top of the last hits here. Doing fine on that front. Jenkins is going to Iron Talon his way into some recovery farm. But Evernova have to feel pretty good overall. They're getting the most out of the lane. They claim the top 2 in the net worth right now. But they're happy to work with the clock as mentioned in the draft. So they'll just kind of take things a bit slow here at the start. No pressure to kind of get themselves more further ahead on the board. As Jenkins makes another stack here. Looks like 3 ancient stacks already built up. I guess this will probably be saved over for the Sven to kind of burst his way into some huge farm because, yeah, we know Beastmaster and Axis is simply not enough this day and age, so it looks like Louis is going to be able to have a lot of side farm ready for him.
Yeah, but in the meantime, Jenkins' progression is absurdly low. With the fact that it took so long for them to deward that camp, the fact that he hasn't felt comfortable actually going out to the lane, he was sitting actually at the lowest experience per minute next to the Nyx Assassin. Finally, he's actually still starting to build himself up, but still only level 3 at 5.5 minutes as the offlaner. And you compare that Earthshaker, who just passed a Fisher back the wave, and Hook, he's rapidly approaching level 5. So he's doing really well. The Beastmaster is going to have slow progression, and he's going to have to make sure that his first 2 roars connect with a kill.
We'll have to see. It's going to be a while, though, till he's going to be there. In fact, his lane's in a bit of trouble. They are creeping around, hoping that they'll see him rotate into this tower. He turns up at the tier 2, and they'll see him pop up into the lane, but still a bit too far out of position. And, yeah, only going to be going for the boar, so Jenkins not looking to make anything too easy for the other team. He's going to be fine. And back at mid lane, it still continues to be OD, who kind of just making a bit of recovery here. I mean, Let Me Go is now pulled further and further ahead as far as his CS matchup against the OD here. So his Midas is coming in any moment now. And Jaw gets a nice deep ward behind this tier 1 in the top lane because they got to recognize that Hook has been holding out on his own pretty nicely in this off lane. If they can bring him down a peg, that would be pretty swell.
So, gonna go ahead and start pushing the tower here. God's Strength, the cooldown is to use it for a little bit of aggressive farm, but in the end they are going to try to bring this tower down sooner rather than later, and that's kind of one of the strengths the Enigma does provide. But he actually gets fissured before switching the aggro, and he's going to have to get Warcried out of there. Already dropping very low.
Ouch. Luckily he has an Oracle nearby. We'll hit him up with a couple Purifying Flames and be good. It looks like Ziz has caught his mark, moves in for the stun, but can't follow it up as Derp is looking to intercept. Oh, God's Strength comes out, and that is the signal for Evernova to quickly pull back. Don't get too confident here. That cleave damage could do some serious work, but there's going to be the Hex, and the rotation does come in. It's going to be Juan who steps in, gets off a follow-up stun, and Ziz is all alone and away from his team. Pops the Mango, though. Hey, he get one more. Oh, he can get both! He got them both down! Oh, what a manly Mango coming out for that. He will end up losing his life, but my goodness, he is happy to walk away with 2 heads.
Absolutely, and actually might be able to take the tower too. Derp going to go for the knife, does get it just narrowly. So Derp will take that gold off the table, but still Sven happy to be able to come out of that with a couple of kills, a couple notches in his belt, and of course they're dewarding the plateau above his Ancient so that he could prioritize that next. Maybe one more stack, but no matter what, Great Cleave right now being maxed out is all he really needs. And actually can't cancel the TP of the Morphling, otherwise that might have been an opportunity too.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fortune's then canceled TPs. That would be so OP, but it will be fine. He'll make it away, and after the tier 1 going down, it looks like Invoker might reside in this lane in the meantime and allow some farm time for Schwan here on this Nyx Assassin to try to get a bit closer to getting that level 6. Still sporting only about level 3.5 here. I'd love to pick up this pesky little Vendetta. Hook's nearby just in case they do decide to make their move. This doesn't seem to be it, but a casual Astral in the meantime will be coming out from the OD. And they're toying with him a bit if they can draw him in, but here comes the rotation. They have the ward, though. They see this. Possibly. Or not. He's smoked up. Oh, he's playing very carefully.
Yeah, but he's just, I mean, kind of trying to keep their attention. In the meantime, Ziz is able to clean up the entire Ancient stack. That gives Ja a lot of experience. Sven, of course, a lot of gold, but Ja, most importantly, getting close to that level 6 when he was actually, I think, level 3 at the time. So nice progression for Ja, and just in general, really important that they start moving towards a point where they can start pushing together, fighting together, because they really don't want to let this Morphling get Lincolns without having any contest. We're going to be seeing Jenkins without a roar, unable to do much to Baidu King, who seems to be just slipping right out.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay, thinking about creeping back in once more, but Animal Kingdom waiting before they want to go for some contention. The TPs are starting to come in now. This is Enigma who does have the black hole at the ready if the setup is going to be there. And as they show themselves and move on forward, Evernova are quick to make their retreat back in the way. Looking to overcommit and doesn't feel like they feel too confident that they have the team fight yet. But here comes Hook, leaning in, manages to get the stun here onto the OD, but no follow-up. More flirting around in in the meantime, bottom lane, Morphling continues his farm, but he knows now that Ziz has kind of stepped away. Looks like he was trying to kind of keep tabs on him to see if he's heading towards that mid lane or not, which he is now. They're picking it up.
There's an Invisor. This is going to be an Echo Slam in mid. It's going to be massive.
Oh, right on top of him, and this is going to be disaster for Animal Kingdom if they can't respond back. Oh, the Primal Roar will go out, but Beastmaster will be soon to follow.
Oh!
But that is a black hole, let me tell you what. Right back on top of him. Unfortunately, though, for Evernova, even though it seemed like a fantastic start with a huge Echo set up with an Invis rune, it is the black hole of all that will be coming out from Animal Kingdom, and they do bite back.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Holy
attack.
shit, man. One rune turns into just one of the biggest confrontations you can see at this early stage. I mean, that could have been so amazing if Evernova could just keep chaining the AoE disables. They got so many, as mentioned before, but they go ahead and get it turned around against them. The Enigma gets saved and gets to turn it right back around. Massive black hole and massive swing forward for the Animal Kingdom here. They're going to take a tower, and they're just going to continue to build up in a big way. Ziz should have a Blink Dagger very soon, and at that point, I think they hit their peak. I think they just start pushing as hard as possible, all as one, because with that mechanism, with the all of their ultimates online, there's very little that Evernova could do to directly contest them. They can poke, they can slowly like whittle them down with long-range abilities, but when it comes down to just actually fighting them, it actually is not clear-cut.
Ooh, Derp, the former wheel wreck while whistling player, trying to make his move in for Sven, but Sven's already able to get the cry off and will avoid any sort of trouble. And I'm with you, man. This is go time for Animal Kingdom. It looks like the blink. No, with Yasha here for the Sven has picked that up, so a little bit more in the mobility and farm potential, but you know, this is a game where you don't want to be allowing Evernova to kind of build up a lot of economy behind something like this Morphling, where bottom lane is actually in a little bit of trouble, but he's got the get out of jail free card. We'll use his ulti and step back from trouble as he continues to build up towards that Lincoln Sphere. Top lane, though, ZXYC stuck in a bit of trouble. Derp's there to close him off. You shall not pass. You shall die. And it's going to be Invoker who picks it up with a Sunstrike.
And suddenly, Derp goes from level 5 to level 7, so he's ready to roll with the Finger of Death, and might need to down bottom, as we do see Vido King doesn't get the waveform away, gonna have to try to morph through, but he's gonna be caught by this Fortune's End, so although he has a lot of HP, he has no way of getting out of this one, and they're just gonna run him down.
Plenty of hefty damage coming out from that God Strength Sven, and even Jaw with 3 levels in Purifying Flames will be enough to burst through that thick, watery skin of the Morph. And with that, another good skirmish, a good follow-up for another tower. He keeps boosting up for them, and they will continue to truck on in. Drawn's nearby with Vendetta, but there is not going to be any sort of follow-up. But for Evernova, they do have a tier 1 in the top lane. It's a little bit of something for them, but this is Animal Kingdom's game right now. And we asked for them to keep on the go path, and they are doing it right now. Blaze bottom lane, they go right for the tier 2. They got 24 seconds, and then we'll have a black hole at the ready to match up with Jenkins' Primal Roar, which is already good to go.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Alright, so at this point, they just kind of keep the efficient farm going now that they've forced Evernova to group up. And if they ever find an opening, of course, they'll go for it. But for right now, they're happy just to kind of keep their distance and just keep farming. I mean, right now, they are doing substantially better in terms of net worth, and they're going to continue to build that advantage as long as they keep on dictating where Evernova have to move and respond.
Looks like Evernova are making their move near the Roche pit here. Wild Harpy's going to scout things out into the Cyclone, but it's Ziz nearby who's farming a pretty damn gross and girthy stack. He's able to get the finish. Well, now makes his move in under Vendetta. And, maybe a go on the Oracle could be feasible, but even that would be too tough with the false promise at the ready. So just here for the intels. Instead, takes a bird and will walk away. Evernova just holding out. They still got tier 2s to kind of stand behind, and this Morphling is closer and closer towards the Lincolns, but they're just going to need more. So I don't know, what is it more just kind of avoid the fights in the meantime, Blaze, and wait for either Animal Kingdom to kind of overstep their boundaries a bit, or can they actually get a lot done with this 4-man movement that they're doing right now?
I think they have a lot of potential with just the 4 heroes without the Morphling, as long as they have the right vision. If they are able to see and move and catch the enemy off guard, they can do wonders.
They're catching Jaw off guard a bit. They get the mana leak a bit, but oh, he cannot save Nushin with the false promise. And that is going to be an Enigma down. That is going to be a black hole to not worry about. And that is great for Evernova. The Morphling shows up now. Goes for the waveform. Jai is going to be able to get the false promise on himself. Purifying Flames, but no, TP is going to be awarded. He will possibly pop here. Yes, he will. That second Purifying Flames is not going to be helping as the regen is not going to be there long enough. And that is turning into a two-man pick right there. And I mean, you called it. Evernova do have the potential if they're able to kind of take advantage of what Animal Kingdom can't see, catch him by surprise, and Exhibit A, if you will, right in mid lane.
And obviously, surprise burst damage is really important against like the heroes like Oracle and Dazzle that do the last-minute heals. The Sunstrike was actually the thing that prevented the false promise from coming through. And if suddenly that hero is living for at least the 7 extra seconds and maybe even surviving, like that's something to be concerned about. So I really do like the fact that they're able to, just with abilities like Finger of Death and Sunstrike, just deliver so much damage before the Animal Kingdom's ready to respond. So takes the quick pick, turns it into one more, and they do open up the map a lot here.
Roche is up. Animal Kingdom smoked. Head that way. And it looks like they will go right in and go for it. But doesn't have any sort of Eidolons to work with here, but they have a mech and they have a God Strength Sven that will help with the DPS department. For the rest of Evernova, it doesn't seem like they really have the wherewithal. They're making their own farm out towards this mid lane while we have Morphling continue to work with the top, about to finish out that Linken's, and bottom lane Hooks continues to wait in the dark, but he does have a Blink Dagger ready to go. Sunstrike will be there now. They have the vision. Are they thinking about going in? One's close. We'll get spotted. False promise. Jump in. Dunk comes out, though, from Hook. Not enough to finish out the... Oh, not enough to get the Roche. Aegis will be picked up, it looks like, from Ziz, and now begins to chomp away on the Hook. It is going to be finished off from Jaw with the Purifying Flames. An ambitious jump in does come out from Evernova, but I don't know if it's going to lead to a whole lot of promise here. Derp goes in, gets the stun. Ziz is going to get helped out from the false promise, but now he's eating so much damage here. Decides instead to man up for the Morphling. He's still good. He lives on through it. The Morphling, though, is going to be able to get the kill, finishing out the Outworld Devourer. And now Ziz with the follow-up round 2 slashes down the Morphling. Triple kill for Joss, sniping them all apart with that Purifying Flames. And the fight recap will show that this almost ends into a bit of a split down the middle, Blaze.
That was actually a really good jump, obviously, from the Earthshaker. Could have been extremely different if he had picked up the Aegis and had a second life to work with instead of the Sven. But still got to say, there were some really good plays there from Jaw. I mean, he got, obviously, the 3 last hits, but through 6 Purifying Flames, he was able to do more damage than anybody but the Sven. He really was able to contribute massively with the Oracle. And I love this hero in a lot of ways. Like, he can contribute so much defensively, so much offensively. It just feels like when you play this hero that you have so much control over your circumstances. So it's going to be on Evernova to try to shut that control down, to take him out early, to disable him, and just to make it so that he can't play the game that he wants to. Because right now, we are seeing a lot of great stuff out of Jaw and from the Animal Kingdom as a whole.
Let's see if that momentum will be shut down at all here from Evernova or not. As Animal Kingdom go back into the grind of farm here, it looks like ZXYC's already got an Ower Club to build up in towards his defensive BKB. And after completing out the S and Y here on their Sven, in the meantime, they did take down this Enigma, looked like in the top lane, a setup that looked like it did cost them.
It was just a pretty clean Vendetta gank. They followed up the Earthshaker, and it's pretty much, if you get isolated, that's going to continue to happen. I'm glad that they were able to avoid what Evernova were trying to set up in the Eastern Dire Jungle when they had that offensive Observer Ward, but sometimes you just get a little too greedy, and in this case we do see Derp just getting cleaned up before his time. But even still, I think that as soon as he respawns, they're going to go, and actually even before that, he's going to try to God Strength up down, but that 4 points in Strength Morph is way too much for that to actually take effect, and he's going to be able to wave TP.
Every time you take a hit, it just quickly gets revived right back up. He's like the T-1000. Morphling heads right out. And
I'll show you God's strength.
Yeah, he's just going to go ahead and move and try to get the rest of this hard-hitting damage onto a Tier 2 instead. Actually, looks like it might be enough. You also have a DD BM Jenkins there to help out in that department. It looks like it will secure them the extra bit of gold. And Evernova are just going to have to let this one go. We still have a lot as far as insurance policy behind this Morphling a bit. Finally gets that Linken's now complete. And you imagine he will build forward now into your shotgun buildup right now. A lot of valuable targets here on the side of Animal Kingdom if he is able to get it complete here, but Animal Kingdom still controlling most of the board.
Just being able to shut down one spellcast per fight, though, is always going to be very helpful. It makes it so that he can start pushing very heavily towards the bottom tier 2 tower. I don't expect that to live more than like 5 or 6 more minutes, because the Morphling's going to continuously putting pressure out there as long as his replicant is up, and I see no reason for him to be too worried right now.
Looks like our Nyx assassin friend tried to make a move for ZXYC, got the Vendetta hit, but did unfortunately not catch the stun. And he will instead eat that stun. Jenkins moves in with Primal Roar, and now the right clicks come out from the mighty bat of ZXYC. He will claim the kill, and he will claim redemption.
Oh, he gets stunned in the fountain! Oh, he's actually TP bottom. Either way, he did get stunned, but the TP had already gone through.
Oh man, very close.
Takes a hammer through a dimensional rift. Eats it on the other side.
And again, it'll just have to be Ziz kind of making the most of what's left of his God Strength and heading towards the second tier 2. And will they be able to get it while that's happening? Evernova make their move into the bottom half of the map instead.
Radiant's top tower is under
Wolfling continuing to
attack.
farm up. The clock keeps moving in, and Animal Kingdom want to put themselves inside the base sooner than later. They have the army to do so in this top lane. They have the abilities. They have the cooldown. All off and ready. Ambitious jumping comes out from Ziz here. Will it cost him a lot? The stun's only going to catch on to
They
him.
can't reinforce. They get
pull him
echoed the
back
second
with
they break the
fissure.
high ground.
So that could be it. This could be a quick pick for the Sven, who's just caught a bit too far. It's going to cost him his Aegis here. Round number 2, though. He may get away. No, Icewall's going to be there, and now Nushin looks to move in. They're waiting. Is the target going to be there? Hook is rolling for it. The Echo comes out, but it's only onto Ziz. He gets a false premise. Do they have enough of the heal? Now they see the drop of the Midnight Pulse, and they do not want to get close for the Black Hole. It looks like they will be able to keep the Sven alive and well. And even though the Echo is on cooldown, they cannot allow any more pressure towards this mid lane, and don't really want to be going in for any more additional action, so they bail and take their business elsewhere.
Yeah, obviously the tier 3 is a lot better than the tier 2 in this situation, and it's just Earthshaker dead. The Ziz was ready to go. He had the blink, he had the vision, so the second that Earthshaker tries the jungle, Ziz reveals the ward, but gets himself a free kill. So very nice. I would have to say overall, just Animal Kingdom spaced themselves up very well there, because the Earthshaker was kind of the gatekeeper. He wasn't fissuring them to keep them out of the base, but because there was that massive creep wave, there was absolutely no way they could go in to directly assist the Sven. So Animal Kingdom had to play that very carefully, but there was no opportunity to Echo Slam multiple heroes on the creep wave. The only opportunity given was on the Sven, who got hit by the Fate's Edict, False Promise, and the Mechanism, and it just nullified everything.
Oof. A lot of hate right there for Jenkins, though. They are going to be able to catch him with the tip of that stun, which is the Sunstrike, the burst of the finger, and the cherry on top is going to be him going down. So it was a good heads-up play from Animal Kingdom there in the top lane to kind of keep the Werewolf positioning there, but Jenkins will be caught out of position, of course with help from this Ops Ward in the mid lane. So that's to be able to keep those in check. A gem may be something that they could consider. I know they are building up towards a Necro 3, which they just about have. Oh, they actually already have a gem on Jaw. So, all right, now they just need to get to kind of getting the map back in control from themselves, and also maybe getting some of these side lanes kind of warmed up a bit. We know this Morphling could end up falling back on like a plan B where, I don't know, what do you think? Do you think there's potential for him to go into like a split push kind of a game right now, or is he still going to be able to peak pretty damn hard once this S-Blade is done?
I think you just go for like the just overall shotgun and surprise attack. I would actually say, this will sound crazy to some people, but finish the E-Blade and then go for a Blink Dagger and try to use your quick maneuverability, just be in and out, maybe wave forward, then blink back. Just do a bunch of stuff to really get these blasts out, get these extra adaptives, get the big E-Blade damage, and then maybe you go for a Butterfly after that. Maybe Scotty as well. Both are really good, but I wouldn't say that he's in a position this game to rat and to split push more than the outer tier 2 towers until like, I don't know, 45 minutes in the game.
Back towards the side of Animal Kingdom now. They've got those ults back up and at the ready here. Still would take a bit of extra time if they wanted to wait for the Necro 3, but since their last engagement or push into the base, Ziz has been able to complete his BKB and nearly has 1,500 gold to bank on top of it right now. Look at this. Nyx creeping through mid lane. Oh, he's hoping to get a grab here on Nushin. Take him out of the picture fast would be nice. They're going to get the Vendetta. Jaw's close. He could get the slow. He even has a false promise, but he might need to get close to get it off. He gets it off. It'll be good. Fate's Edict and even a heal to kind of make sure he's going to be secure and fine, and John will be forced to kind of pull back. And it's not really big wasted cooldowns from either side, to be honest. Oracle's only about 45 seconds, and we already know that Vendetta's a pretty swift ulti, so looks like just some harassment plays coming out.
Radiant's
Yeah,
middle
small exchange
tower
down
is
bottom
under attack.
involving the 2 cores of Animal Kingdom, but Invoker survives. He gets back home, and he'll be BOTing right back to the front lines as well, so nothing. But the first BKB is probably the big expenditure there, but it's still going to be... I mean, that's a pretty big loss not to get a kill with your first BKB against this kind of a lineup, but I don't think they want this game to go crazy late
Dire's
anyways,
top tower
so
is
we're
under
probably
attack.
looking at the game ending with him having it 8 or 7 seconds
Dire's top
one way or
tower
another.
has fallen.
That Blade is coming closer and closer to a reality here, as now Morphling is going to be able to tickle into the high ground of the Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom show themselves now in the mid lane,
Dire's
which
top tower
means
is
they
under
will
attack.
have someone to address the top lane. It looks like it will be their Sven. And they continue to play what feels like almost a game of cat and mouse at this point. Oh, and now they have made their move for Jenkins here. Fissure, Deafening Blast, and the BM is going to be out for this one. 42 seconds, no buyback. What can Evernova do with this subtle advantage here? Doesn't look like they're gonna do much
I
as
think
of
they'll check
right
pit
now,
at the
but
exact time that
yeah.
it's going to respawn, so that's going to be very helpful if they want to try to take advantage of it right then and there. They have to have some scouts to make sure the Enigma can't get in, but overall this is a good play for them. I guess they lack negative armor. It's really the Invoker that's going to do the damage, but looks like he's confident enough to keep going with it. Anyways, I really like that movement overall. Evernova with the Morphling up top. His job there isn't to get hits on the tier 3 tower. His job is to force TPs back. As soon as he sees the Sven go all the way back, yeah, you're going to be able to wrap around and get a pick off, and we'll see if that actually nets them to Roshan.
Ooh, they're cutting him off, though. Animal Kingdom trying to stride straight to the Roche, but they get a good Fissure block to separate the pack, but they continue trucking forward, and that's going to be Ziz getting the quick kill on Derpter, taking out the Lion. Morphling will be able to snag up the Aegis for himself. He jumps up to the high ground to avoid any sort of additional trouble. It looks like it could be a full disengage here from Evernova. And a successful one at that. Yeah, they lost their line in the meantime, but it's just support. Okay, Morphling does show himself
Morphling?
again.
What?
He's like, I think I got a shotgun here, and tries to make work on the OD, but it's not going to be enough. 1 second for waveform. He's morphing up the life. All right, no, he's not necessary. Makes it to the low ground, and uh-oh. They're going to try to cut him off. They know he doesn't have a TP. Bird's got to get to that side jump fast if they want to scout him.
He's still got the
already
Lincoln,
made
so you have to have 2 heroes on him is a
Yeah.
big deal. And that's why he knew he could play around the Sven like that. Because Stormhammer doesn't mean anything. You have to have an extra spell. And because Sven's the only one with the Blink on this side of the Dire, it makes it so that it is actually safe for Morphling to do that. Baidu King kind of plays around with them a little bit, but in the end, the Roche, the Aegis, going to Evernova, that's what they were looking for, and a great Fissure from the Earthshaker is mostly why that happened. Hook was able to block 2 heroes up on the high ground just extraordinarily well. Waste the BKB of the OD as well, and yeah, Sven is actually down to 8 seconds already, so they don't have an Aegis to end with. I actually feel like Animal Kingdoms are now feeling a little in a weakened state because every BKB is going to cost them more and more. He's going to get a kill on Derp Derp. No, the Tornado!
Oh, and that ice wall and the BKB don't even matter at that point. While mid lane, they know the Sven goes top. They make their jump for mid. And, well, they're trying to make the go on the morph, but the Duck's going to be coming on through. It's big on the Jenkins. He gets saved from the false promise, and CXYC barely able to make it out with a BKB. Makes his move for morph. Does he have the damage to get him down? He's trying. He's got it. With the help of the Sands Eclipse, but it's all for an Aegis. That's not
Black
good
hole,
enough.
black hole, black
Step
hole!
back. Black hole's going to be waiting for him, and that means they'll take him down. Triple kill for Ziz on this one. Animal Kingdom parade themselves down this mid lane, and with Morphling out of the picture for a minute without a buyback, it looks like they might be able to do some good work here. Chaos Meteor comes down. They're going to try to slow him as best as possible. Lion, he's nearby, and, well, I don't think it's going to be enough tools here. Animal Kingdom kind of repositioning, weighing it out, and I don't think they're going to actually move into the high ground at all. They're done. They'll pull back.
All right, so that is actually going to be a nice swing forward there from Animal Kingdom. Great pick up on the Morphling, and you actually look at net worth, and now Morphling's starting to struggle. Give up
Yushin was
actually
down.
Enigma.
Yeah,
Nice
pick
pick up
on
there.
him.
But even still, like 17,000 on the Invoker, mostly because of Midas. And now we see this Morphling only equal in CS to the Invoker, and has unfortunately died 3 times this game without picking up very many kills himself.
Definitely feels like it's been nerfed down a bit. Animal Kingdom playing this one a bit slow placed here. Invoker sporting that 4K gold, but Ziz has been a man on a mission, especially against Derp, man. This could be the 3rd time he goes for a jump, but this Forward Spirits will prevent the blink. And Derp retreats elsewhere, but that only distracts me away from the potential of Let Me Go moving in and getting a quick pick on the OD. A huge grab for them. And that's going to force Animal Kingdom to kind of turn back towards their side. Evernova will take this opportunity to get a bit of a D ward and some aggressive wards down on the Dire front. But that is going to be able to kind of keep them in check. And any opportunity for them to get these side pickoffs and force Animal Kingdom to kind of relieve the pressure is all the more time for Evernova to kind of pull this into the late game even more so.
Yeah. You always have to keep in mind that this Nyx Assassin is doing like 400 damage to the OD because of the high intelligence of Mana Burn. And then, he, of course, with the Sunstrike and Vendetta gank, that OD is very vulnerable. So, nice little find there for the Nyx Assassin, really doing his job. He's been getting a lot of good Mana Burns out. He's been able to find a few critical pickoffs, but I'm not sure if it's creating enough space just yet. I mean, we still see the gem was purchased a while ago from Jaw, and he seems confident to hold it and continue holding it. And in the meantime, they're clearing out any potential ward spots, so they know that the OD, that was just a lucky opportunity, that the OD is still safe to farm in his jungle. And compare that to the Dire jungle. Like, compare all these D wards and the gem and these smoke plays for animals compared to how little vision Evernova have.
4 freaking wards here from Animal Kingdom. They're all over the front. One near the Roche pit, one nice and deep, one cuts off the pass on this lower front, and they even have one nearby in the lane that they're working with right now. Blink and you miss it. A quick jump and kill. Take out the Invoker. And here comes Animal Kingdom down from the north. Meanwhile, the other side, bottom lane, they're making the move for ZXY Siege. One's going to make his stun connection, and Hook will as well. But they can't afford to be there. They need to head back to base because it's in trouble. Tier 3 is already down. And as they make the move for the racks, they see the buyback come out, and they are going to pull out with those big winnings here. Animal Kingdom showing patience now as they don't want to be able to kind of risk losing a whole lot. They force the Invoker to dip into that piggy bank. He had 4K at one point. He was able to have that soul booster, but it does cost him a pretty penny.
All right, so now the question is, what's the next step for Animal Kingdom? Because right now they did get the buyback on the Invoker. The Lions bought back a while back, and still is going to be recovering from that. But I feel like the next few BKBs are very important. Like, he's going to be down in 5 seconds after those next 2, so they really need to fight it out as quickly and as furiously as possible, because as soon as their BKBs are in 5 seconds, the OD and the Svens, it's so easy for Evernova just to nuke and control the side of Animal Kingdom. So we do see that the next verse is going to be very important, and just in general, any siege opportunities, we really can't see them be forced back too many times.
Does already make his move towards this bottom lane to easily push it out here. And we already know he's pretty damn swole as far as damage goes. We know that his BKB is beginning to tick down a bit. I think it's his best interest to kind of continue to build up in the damage department, go as crazy as a moon shard, let's say, or is it straight to the Satanic? There's the Satanic done. So,
all right,
never mind, Blaze. I guess that answers that freaking question.
It does, but it's actually quite interesting because the longer the Sven survives, it generally is a good thing. But up against this team, like, they're gonna be getting their second volley of spells out. Like, sure, you'll survive. You'll be like, okay, I pop my Satanic, start lifestealing, but you've got this 5-second enchant totem that's continuously stunning you up. You got cold snaps, you got ice walls, and all the other direct stuns. And I just feel like the Sven Satanic isn't bad, and strength is an amazing thing for Sven because of his ultimate. But I just feel like damage actually could have been a really good idea, because if you can just make the most of your BKB and you can do the most damage wrecking things when your BKB is active, then you don't really have to worry about how survivable you are, because you'll have one less hero. If you kill somebody extra in your BKB, then you'll have one less hero disabling you, which makes the Satanic less necessary.
I suppose that if you know that you'll be the recipient of the false promise, that Satanic will be pretty damn nice to have.
Oh, well, yeah.
Serious regen coming in. I mean, hell, even a heart looks pretty damn good when you have a false promise on your team, but that's if it's used for him. I mean, how many times have we seen, like, the Enigma potentially get caught out, and then you're going to have to false promise him, so...
Yeah, we've only seen, I think, one false promise on this Sven. It's not commonly necessary.
Yeah. All right, well, two ships in the night, if you will, as Animal Kingdom kind of swerve their way up and through their own woods, where Evernova were just kind of lurking about. They take their business elsewhere and across the lane. Both teams not looking to pull the trigger quite yet. It's more Evernova keeping the lanes pressed across the river, preventing Animal Kingdom from confidently moving in for another push where they've been winning. And Morphling is strutting in, gets a quick shot, and it will force out the BKB from ZXYZ. Meanwhile, Ziz trying to make a move for Derp. Derp is going to miss the stun. Jenkins jumps in. They get a quick, easy kill on Hook and a follow-up kill on the Invoker. Make it a triple as the crit comes out, and he just slaughters poor little Derp. That was an instant.
Yeah, the line sleeps tonight for sure. That was just destructive. We're going to be seeing them go in hard onto the mid lane. There is no buyback on the Invoker, and they know it. They got the buyback earlier. That was one of the big things they earned the past few minutes. We will see Juan try to go for a little pick on the OD, but without a Sunstrike to support him, he'll only harass. He'll only provide some damage, and in the end, Ziz is still going to be on the front line, hammering away at these barracks.
Still with even a black hole at the ready. This is easily looking like a set of racks here. No Echo Slam in sight. 2 sets of racks are in order here for Animal Kingdom. It's just game number 1, so it seems to be going their way. To see.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, the Echo Slam is finally available, and they're already out of the base, trying to finish off the ranged racks with just a couple of boars. So they're looking to let it fall. Morphling doesn't even try to save it by using his adaptive or Z-Blade. Just goes and loses the barracks. That's going to be a massive influx of gold going to Animals. It's creep momentum very far against the side of Evernova, and game 1 is like most of the way over. 1 Roshan, and that will be it.
Gotta hope for that Hail Mary play here. We'll see. Another dunk inside the pit. Oh, they briefly spotted Juan here, and Ja is on the prowl. Ooh, not close enough to cut him off. The Bloodhounds are out
still
there
got Blink
for him. Oh, they instead made course, went for Hook. Hook glimmered up, has to fissure to make it away, but they're gonna hustle him down. They know that Echo could be huge. Oh, they don't care. They're not gonna pursue.
No, it's just because his Blink dagger was on cooldown first, so there's absolutely no way they can catch him, no matter how hard they try. So they just move in. They say, okay, well, scared him off. Check the pit. Nothing there. Okay, and they'll probably just maybe go for some push down bottom. But I think there's a gem still on the Oracle, yeah. So if he does happen to walk up the hill, he'll find a very critical observer ward. The only other observer ward that Evernova have on the map isn't all that relevant in most cases. Might actually create a kill opportunity here on the Enigma, though. Has a Sunstrike, the Mana Burn, everything thrown at him, and the Nyx just can't finish the job.
False Promise will come out, and they might actually turn it back onto him. A False Promise from downtown comes out, and with the help of ZXYC, they're able to kind of step in and get redemption. And now, big tornado, Chaos Meteor, BKB still going to be a popping out, and Invoker will make a swift escape away from trouble here. They're still flirting around. They know that Ziz wants to make his move in for the pit. Hook jumps in the fissure, but he again will be going down. No Echo will be had. Jumping from the Morph, goes in for the shotgun, but then a Black Hole is going to be there from Nusham. He is good. It's plenty. Animal Kingdom going to the Roche Pit. They will get their Aegis, and might have just definitely put the nail in the coffin at this point for Evernova.
Yeah.
They have 38 seconds for their high ground Echo Slam to be up.
And that Satanic actually paid off big there. They put every single magical damage spell they could into him, and he didn't even have to BKB until significantly after. He got to rely on the Oracle there, and then heal up fully at Roche, so that Morphling's reinitiation didn't mean much at all. So any raw Heart would have done the same, but either way, one of those 2 items is very necessary. The raw HP pool made it impossible for them to isolate him and bring him down.
He gets hit with a tornado, but we'll be able to block his new BKB and be all good and fun. The XYC, though, as he gets stunned up, they just quickly do work of Lion and the Nyx Assassin. It's very apparent that at this point, Animal Kingdom just so far out of their league that it will force Derp to throw in the towel. And that is going to be game number 1. Animal Kingdom will take it.
Impressive showing from them as they're able to coordinate a lineup very effectively. Obviously, they were fighting up against a tough lineup of that's really just an ease of execution lineup from Evernova. They're able to find ganks really easily, really effectively between like the Nyx Poker or just in general with all these stuns. They had so many different ways to set up the fights, but Animal Kingdom just positioned better and played around it. The Oracle was never the focus of any fight. That's the strength of that's the show of a good Oracle player, is that he's always just far enough back that there's no way that they can focus him and get to him. So really good performance from Ja. Obviously, Ziz did some amazing work on the Sven, and even Nushan with one big black hole that really becomes the highlight of the match.
We're going to cut to a break now, and when we come back, it's going to be game number 2 here for BTS Americas 4, the Animal Kingdom, going against, well, Team Evernova. We'll see you soon for game 2.